Okay, we're going to look at some Part 3 questions to do with the topic of education. Question number 1, how do you think the education system in your country has changed in recent years? Now, here, I think if you're in China, you could mention things like lots of new schools appearing, especially lots of private schools. You might mention any changes regarding the subjects that students study or the content of those subjects. I'm going to guess, I don't know, I haven't studied at a secondary school in China, but I'm going to guess that they're a lot more technological than they used to be. There may also be a greater focus on things like business. What you can also do is you can divide this question into different parts. You can think about primary education, secondary education, and tertiary education, so university. The second question, is, do you think education should be free, meaning no payments, no charges? You might think about whether this should be free. You might think about whether education should be free at all levels or just some levels. What about adult education? People who are already working, should their education be free or not? Who do you think should pay for these things? Should it be the individual themselves? Or should it be the company they work for? Or should there be some way for society as a whole to pay? Question 3, which subjects do you think that all students should study at secondary school? The obvious choices which most candidates will mention are mathematics and Chinese. Chinese, obviously, Chinese, obviously, it's the #1 language in China. What a surprise! Mathematics, because it's obviously useful for everyday life. What about other subjects? Do you think that learning English should be compulsory? Do you think that all students should study science or history? Try to think of some of the advantages of studying these subjects, and you might mention one or two of the disadvantages of having all students study these subjects. Next question, do you think that examinations are the best way to decide who should go to university? So here you need to look at the advantages and disadvantages of examinations, but you also need to consider different ways of approaching this. For example, could all the universities give interviews to the students, or make them fill out some questionnaires, perhaps, or have them write essays? The next question, do you think that students in your country have too much homework? Again, as with a few of the previous questions, you might divide this according to the level of education, primary, secondary, and tertiary. I think you should also compare the importance of homework with other things, such as playing sport, meeting friends, and other activities.